Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. My name is Jason and I'm your watch guy today. Today I am reviewing Pagani Design's answer to the PRX. The Tissot PRX took the watch world by storm last year. Everyone wanted one, pretty much everyone had one. I had a couple myself and I moved them on. This one is a homage at less than £100. Now, let me clear something up before we get into this review, before we get into any discussion in that comment section. This is the Tissot PRX. This is the Quartz version. Lovely watch, £295, not a bad deal, very budget. This is not the watch that we are comparing this piece with today, right? This is the Tissot PRX Powermatic 80. This is the watch that we are comparing with this Pagani Design today, okay? That's what I want you to keep in mind. This is an automatic movement. This one is £500+ even when you get a decent deal. The Pagani is 100, and that is why Pagani have seen fit to homage this piece, I guess. Now that's out of the way. This one's been sent to me for free by the Pagani Design wristwatch store on AliExpress. I have linked them in the description. There is a slight sale on at the moment, and the sales are always the best time to buy a watch on AliExpress. As I say, it's linked in the description. Make sure you use your coupon codes, coins, whatever you can to lower the price. We all like a good bargain, don't we? Now, with that out of the way, let me turn this camera around and let's have a look at this watch. So this is the Pagani Design PD-1753. It is their homage to the Tissot PRX. And let's get one thing clear. This is an alternative to the PRX Automatic, which houses the Powermatic 80 movement. Now, obviously, yes, they do make a cheaper model. They make the Quartz model. However, this is an automatic watch, and therefore that's the one that we're comparing it to. The amount of comments that I got on the unboxing of this watch about how it's silly to make a alternative to such a cheap watch, the Tissot PRX, I think a lot of people missed the mark. I understand that you can pick up the PRX Quartz for $295, around that type of price. Great price, budget watch. You're not getting an automatic watch though. That's the sticking point for me. So we are comparing this to the upgraded version. Now, with that out of the way, let's start talking about this watch itself. Now, the last time I checked the prices on this one, it was around $94.43. So under £100, automatic NH35A movement, which we all know is a good, reliable movement from Seiko. This one has been sent to me by the Pagani Design wristwatch store on AliExpress, and that's who I've linked in the description. It's built fully in 316L stainless steel. We have a diameter of 40mm. Another error that Pagani may have made, or may not really have made, is the sizing of this piece. They have advertised it in certain places as 38mm. Now, the 38mm sizing is the bezel itself. Pagani aren't the only brand that do that. Plenty of brands on the market do that. It winds me up all the time. But just to clear that up slightly, it is a 40mm watch with a 38mm look to it due to that bezel. It is 11.5mm thick, which makes it quite wearable on the wrist. To be fair, lug to lug, it is 45.1mm, and these lugs are 12mm lugs. Now, I'm pretty sure you'll be able to pick up an alternative strap to this piece. There are plenty of aftermarket straps on the market, and I imagine that you'd probably pick up quite a few cheap ones on AliExpress if you did want to switch out this stainless steel bracelet that we have on this piece. We have a mixture of brushed and polished surfaces throughout the watch itself. We have a really nice accented chamfered edge along the side of this piece, which really does add a little bit of quality to the finishing. I quite like that they've added that in because it does add to the case shape as well as the level of quality that you can see on the watch. Vertical or lineal brushing on the upper side of the casing, which is broken up by this high polish bezel. Now, the finishing of this watch is probably one of the better finished Paganis that I have seen. I don't believe that this comes towards the level of a San Martin or anything in that type of realm. However, the finishing on this piece, I have quite enjoyed, and I do have to give Pagani some merit for the finishing on a watch that comes in at under £100. We have a signed crown to the side here. This is a screw down crown. Again, another way that it differentiates from the original. First position is for this date window here. Second position is the hacking seconds and handset. Screw that back in. We're all fully aware of how the NH35 works by now, I'm sure. Drilled lugs on this casing makes it easier to switch out the band itself or the bracelet. Make it easier to switch in a different option if you so prefer. Really nice horizontal brushing on this piece. A lot of brands do opt for the vertical brush on the side, and I think that cheapens the look. I think that they've gone the right way with this Pagani piece. As I show you to the case back, we have a display case back on this piece. Now, Pagani have aired away from display case backs of late. However, they have switched back this time around, and we can see that NH35 doing its business in the back there. Usual information around the outer edge. As we move back to the front, we have a flat sapphire crystal sat between this casing and the dial. As well as that, you can see there are some small levels of anti-reflective coating, which will aid in the visibility of this piece whilst on wrist. Altogether, this watch is provided with 100 meters of water resistance. Now, I may have wanted slightly more, however, I can't really fault them for 100 meters of water resistance, considering that this is more of a sports slash dress occasion watch. So I do think that 100 meters is pretty much suitable for this piece. Now, as we move into the dial itself, you can see that that is really the massive feature of this watch, and it's the thing that's drawn me back to wearing this over and over the last week. That almost brushed effect to the dial, that texture to the dial, really does capture the light so elegantly. This green dial as well also pops so nicely in the light. I do think that they've called this completely right with the colour option. Here, I think I picked the right one myself. There are other colours available. If you wanted to click that link below, you can see which ones they have in stock. I think that this one now really does pop and really brings another level to the design of the piece. We have applied indices around the dial itself, and the chaptering that you can see there with the second track running around it, that is actually a level above the dial. Really does add a little level of depth to the design. I do appreciate that. It's well thought out, and it does aid in the striking appearance of this watch. Another thing that really does help is the accent of the white, almost silver chaptering around the outer edge. That does have a vinyl effect to it, and it really does play nicely with the light also. I think that Pagani have really got this one spot on, and I understand the criticisms to it, and I understand the criticisms to Pagani for producing a homage to a watch that is quite budget if you picked up the Quartz version. However, I do think that they've added their own little level of budget elegance to the watch. The Pagani Design logo is applied at the 12 o'clock, followed by the Pagani Design print, automatic above the 6, and either side of that 6 o'clock marker you can see that Japan movement print. We do have a date window to the 3 o'clock. That is in place of the 3 o'clock marker. Stainless steel effect, polished stainless steel effect to the outer edge of the indices, as well as the outer edge of this handset. The hour and minute hand do have a centre of lume, which I will be getting the lights out now to show you. Let's see how Pagani have performed on this lume shot. Okay, so here we have the lume on the Pagani Design. Now, this one's going to annoy me because that handset isn't well loomed. It is patchy and could have definitely been spread much better, much thicker. However, the dial is quite good, especially considering the small real estate that they have to work with those indices. It is a big letdown here, and I'm going to have to rate it a 4 out of a generous 4 out of 10. So as we move away from the lume shot, we move on to this bracelet, and it is a lovely brushed bracelet with small pieces of polished accent on each link. It is in that PRX style. We have the Pagani Design print either side of the butterfly clasp. No micro adjustments to be had. No mid links on this one, unfortunately, to get a better sizing. It is as it falls. Now, this one fits quite nicely to my 6 and a 1/4 inch wrist. I do think that it'll go even tighter. It'll probably go into the mid 5s if we took all links out. As I say, definitely a nice fit for myself. I'll get it on wrist. I've really actually enjoyed wearing this one over the last week or so. It's been one of my top picks to throw on before work. Between this and some of my regular rotations, for some reason, this one has just really brought itself to wrist much more often than the usual Pagani Design fodder that we get in. Really nice fit to it with that small lug to lug and the slightly smaller size of 40mm. As well as that, the bracelet happens to fit well to my wrist. However, there are a couple of things to note about this piece, a couple of moans that we will definitely have to go over. The quality control on this piece isn't the best. Now, there is a slightly sharper edge than I would like on the side of the casing towards these lug ends. It's not something that's major, but to be fair, they've done quite well overall on this watch. Obviously, the loom shot is not the best, and that is a moaning point, but the rest of the moans are slightly more, should we say, harsh, because I feel like it is quite harsh now that I'm getting into them. The bracelet isn't 100%, it is slightly pinchy in certain areas, and I would have liked to have had a mid-link to get a decent size for people with bigger wrists, or any size wrist in that for that fact. As well as that, this fit to the centre of the bracelet really does leave a bit to be desired. It takes away from the effect that this watch has. It really does cheapen the watch slightly. Otherwise, for £100, sub £100, I think that this is a real winner for Pagani. I think they've done really, really well with this piece. I've actually got their chronograph version on its way in, and I will be unboxing that soon on the channel. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to comparing it with this piece. I think it's a winner, and for people who really do love an automatic watch but can't afford the price of a PRX but love the style, I really think it's a no-brainer. I may be wrong. Correct me in the comments. I'm sure you will if I am, but I think this one's done well. Now, in the watch market nowadays, there's not much that £100 will get you, is there? However, it will get you this automatic, retro-inspired, really pretty looking watch. And I think that this really hones back to what Pagani Design do best. They bring a little bit of quality onto that super, super budget market. I think sometimes we need to really remember what these watches are competing against and what type of price range they are competing within. With that being said, if you would like to pick one of these watches up, they are available on the Pagani Design wristwatch store on AliExpress. I have linked them in the description. They sent me this watch for free. I don't have to send it back. However, they've had no influence on this review whatsoever. Now, as a side note, below that link in the description, you will also find a link to my online store. I have plenty of watches just listed on there, pre-owned at a fantastic price. If you wanted to pick yourself up a little treat, go and have a look. Thanks for watching this one, guys. I really do appreciate it. Remember to subscribe if you haven't already. Leave me a comment. And if you're feeling a little bit extra, hit the bell and you'll be notified on my latest videos. I will see you in the next one.